Ellie, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, praise Yahuah. And we're glad to have you here, sister.
Thank you. It is my pleasure. Hallelujah.
Yeah, you made some good finds there in Jubilees and Enoch as well. And the interesting thing is there are some lunar Sabbatarians that use Enoch to support, following their lunar calendar.
Sure, I was
And
one of them.
yeah, and it's just that's the interesting thing. And me and Katrina actually, I think we talked about it a little bit, but it was like last week with the Black Hebrew Israelite lunar Sabbatarians we went on with. Like we weren't able to get a word in really, but they were using Enoch, and I was like, look, we have to read past Enoch 73 because there's more than just chapter 73 about the moon. There's everything else, and there's all the verses that show in Enoch itself. It's the sun and the stars that are determining the years, and they weren't having any of that. So yeah.
That's why Yahuah says, rightly dividing the word of truth. We have to get it all, not just one little section and base your whole theology on that. You've got to grab the whole kit and caboodle of all the scriptures to get a complete picture of what Yah is saying. So many people don't do that.
But you know
Yeah,
something? It's like we have to get a handle on one thing new before he can open something else up to us. At least sometimes, some ways, that's the way it works, that the light just gets a little brighter here. It's funny how he works with us, but he also makes us connect with other people. He makes those connections so that now there are several sisters that I have known for years who are now studying this calendar, sisters and brothers. And so it's not that have been solid lunar, and they're considering, they're praying,
Praise Yah.
so that's, yeah. So that's part of, he knows the exact timing for.
Always. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
So
that's why
even
I love Ecclesiastes 13. It just describes it so beautifully.
yeah. All praise to the Most High, and yeah, Ellie has brought forth a lot of information about the history of, the Saturday and the Sabbath, and I knew about that more recently, but the information I gathered about it was a bit different. But then Ellie was able to provide more clarity on the history, and then I was able to make more sense about it, and basically
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, there is confusion out there for people who don't put it all together. They only get this and that, and I didn't mention about the after I started writing on this, just encouraging brethren to sit down with other brethren and study. I was at a little place called Madison Mission, and I was helping with the herbs and natural remedies and stuff that they were doing. And the elder man there, I thought that he was really, very much a writer, and I hadn't had a lot of experience writing, but I gave him what I wrote, and I was afraid. Boy, was I afraid of the critique he would give me. But I did it, It took up all the courage I had to share it with him. And he said, well, he says, there's only one thing I would change on it. You know, one thing you need to do with it. And I'm like, only one? Wow. You know, I thought there'd be red lines all over it. And he said, you need to finish it. So, so I did. And several years later, after I was married to my late husband, we were at a feast gathering, and he said, you know, he said, somebody needs to write a trifold on this. And I knew he was good at writing. And I said, well, you know, whenever the Father puts something on somebody's heart that somebody needs to do something, most generally he's talking to them about it, right? He completely ignores me. He's like in his 70s, and he completely ignores what I said. And he said, and I know who will write it. And he looked at me, and here I am in front of all of these people. We're all gathered around this table. And so I was a designated writer that day, and it wound up with that whole little core group of that congregation encouraged me in the writing and being able to put things together. And my whole thing was, just please, you know, take this information into consideration and study it. That's the whole thing, because I want people to be taught by our Abba. And so that's when I started writing on this subject more in earnest, you know. And so when my husband and I were going into the history of it, he picked up stuff at the library that were like key things that I hadn't come across. That whole history and Saturday and the lunar Sabbath and all that, they've purposely muddied all that to make it completely confusing so that people don't get any more out of it than you were getting out of it, Brother Jeremy.
Yeah, exactly.
Please explain to me how you have an 8-day week on a 7-day planetary week. You know, it doesn't work. Oh, well, you skip one. Okay, well, which one do you skip? And how often? And when do you... But there's not the understanding. And I want to think... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so I was reading some of my, you know, Babylon, some of my article, because I'm putting it on YouTube. And I was reading the Babylonian, like how they do their calendar. And the Babylonians literally had these, what the Romans later called noondays. And that's when they add that 8th or 9th or whatever day in between the weeks to account for the moon. And I was like, wow, that's literally where the Romans got it too. So they just they literally did the same thing, but named it different ways, you know? It was very strange. And I was like, wow, it just all connects right back to Babylon, basically. It is really the point.
Right. But they had a civil calendar, they had a religious calendar, they had all of these different things, and as far as I could tell, they tried to make it that it integrated, but it didn't really. And maybe you've discovered different things, and maybe more things have come to light since I did my deep dive into it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I didn't realize it until, because we read through your study and did all that. And then I was reading through the Babylon part, like the Babylon influence. And that's where I go over the Babylonian calendar. And they did the same thing as what the Romans did. Or at least that's where the Romans got it from my observation anyway. Because it specifically says, you know, the Babylon calendar, they added, you know, that 8th or 9th day whenever necessary to account for that, the division of the week there with the new moon or the sliver moon.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
and
people
that's what the
say,
Roman.
oh, well, you can't have an 8-day week or a 9-day week. And I'm like, well, no, the Bible says Shabua. That means 7. You only have 7-day weeks. Well, and then you have new moon days, right? But anyway, yep, that's the way it was.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I noticed that because I was like, wow, that's where the Romans got their, noon days is what they call them, is their 8th or 9th day that they added in between their floating weeks for the lunar, which is very interesting. It's very interesting. But yeah, and that's why we see Josephus and the other guy, the Jews Sabbath
Hilo.
day. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, all I said was philo.
Oh, yeah. I thought you
Oh,
said
yeah, and I
hello.
call him Philo. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Philo. Yes, exactly. And that's why we see, oh, look, the Jew Sabbath was on the Roman Saturn's day. It's because they were both observing the same, floating lunar weeks. But, Saturn's day was actually day 1 of their week. And that wasn't switched until, Constantine came around and did all his stuff. But the Romans got their calendar from the Greeks. The Greeks got their calendar from Babylon because the Seleucid Empire, that's what they were pushing. And that's actually exactly where the Pharisees got it, was the Seleucid Empire. And so both, basically, that's where it branched off from the same calendar, but 2 different sects were following the same calendar. So then when the Romans got a hold of it, they converted the planetary week names, and they did their thing with it, even though it was the same exact thing the Pharisees and such were following over here. And they had their different names and reasons why they were doing the same thing. Does that make sense? Or I hope it makes sense. But yeah, it's really just proof. Saturday is not the preserved 7th day from creation. It's impossible for that to be. And we don't see, Saturday or Wednesday or really any named days in scriptures because they're all numbered. The same thing with the months. They were all numbered. And then after Babylon, that's when, the weekdays and the months and such, they started to get their names. But yeah, no, it's once you learn their history, it gets really interesting. It's actually like if they taught this history when I went to school, I would have been more interested. Just say it like that. Hey, and Claire, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you here. And yeah, no, it's been awesome fellowship today. We were all giving our testimonies about coming to the calendar. Most of us did give our testimonies, so it was really awesome. And all praise to the Most High for bringing us all together, truly.
Dwayne, I was wondering where you're at on the calendar and stuff. With like this new understanding. What do you think? Oh, I see your mute is open, but I can't hear you.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. What's your
This,
thought?
well, this isn't a new understanding for me. I've
Oh,
been keeping this for
oh, cause you were the one that came on and said that you were going on Sundays, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I might be mixing you up with someone else then.
Yeah, that was when I
So,
said we were on the same calendar and you freaked out.
oh, that's right. So, so, so so you knew to keep the equinox on the fourth day.
Yes,
Like that's the
yes.
fourth. You knew
Yeah,
not to move it to a Wednesday because of Boaz.
right.
Okay.
Well, I thought I got from Boaz and Rob Moore a lot of years ago,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I've been keeping that calendar since 2012.
Oh my goodness. They've got it that long? Keeping day 4 on the equinox?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, I just wish I would have been keeping it before that, but
Okay.
then I wasn't.
So, all right. So you came to this knowledge, and have you been personally tracking it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Had
So, do you have all the data sets by any chance and all the proof that it's
no.
been on the 20th, or has it
Oh,
always
no,
come up?
no. This was a little bit different. For one thing, I don't know whether they're still doing this or not, but they were determining when they couldn't get a reading on their own sundials and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
They would go to the Jerusalem time,
Mm-hmm.
and if the Jerusalem time was during the daylight hours, it was fine. That would be the day of the equinox. But if it was in the nighttime hours, then they would go to the next day. So, like I think it was in 2023, I was a day off and didn't realize it. So,
What
and
was
I
it in
realized
2023?
just last year, I came to the conclusion that, well, even if it was the nighttime in Jerusalem, it was still going to be cited by me, here in the United States on the day. So I thought, well, that's got to be it, because if
Is that what happened this year with the international dateline? How most of the people thought that they saw it on the 19th and not the 20th, or because did it happen at night?
if they were going with Jerusalem time exclusively, you know,
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree with that. And that's what Marissa had found was the Takufa is actually a 1.24 day long event. So when you
yeah,
see it beginning in the evening,
it's that's going to be the day
go,
no matter what.
exactly. So it'll go to that next day, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So
Well, see,
that
I came to that realization myself just in 2023. I thought, hey, this has got to be wrong. Uh, that when it happens, it happens. So
so what
whether it's
happened
at
in
night.
2023?
Well, I checked on the NASA timeline rather than using a sundial or anything like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
went with Jerusalem time, and it showed that it was at 11:15, I believe. It's don't quote me on that. I can't remember the exact hour, but it was during the night time that it was supposedly sighted in Jerusalem. Well, you can't sight the equinox at night, you know. So I went to the next day, like I thought I'd should according to Robin Boaz's calendar. So at that point, I thought, or after that, I thought, no, that's not right. I can't do it, because I realized then, and only after I'd given it some thought, that, okay, if it was at night at Jerusalem, it's just 5 hours from now. It's going to be daylight here, and that's going to be the equinox. So it wasn't the next day. It was the same day.
Yeah.
And all they had to do to get it right was be to subtract the daylight hours wherever the daylight was first beginning, subtract 5 hours, and they'd realize that the equinox was on the night, was actually on that night that Jerusalem supposedly was sighted. Yeah, I hope somebody, that may sound a little confusing to somebody. So if you've got a confusion about it, ask me.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
try to
kind of
explain it
confused.
better.
I'm kind
Pardon?
of confused. I am.
Okay.
It takes me to visualize sometimes too, so I have to really hear it a couple times.
Okay, if you go by Jerusalem time and you figure you can't, they can't determine an equinox at night, then that would mean that from there on, all the way through the world, then that equinox would have to fall on the next day. But that's not true, because just 5 hours away, I'm getting the equinox in the eastern United States. Okay.
Like the time and point, like that one point in time. When you say equinox, some people think it's like an all-day event, but some people say it's a point in time when the sun is crossing the celestial equator. So when it happens in Jerusalem that night, then what?
Then it still is that same date, 5 hours to the west from them. Because I'm going to be, if I were on the sundial that day, I would be getting the reading of the equinox. You got me?
Okay.
The problem is the 12-hour clock that everybody's on. They start midnight, let's put it this way. They start morning at 1 a.m., okay, on the clock. And we know that the morning starts at the 6th hour.
But if it starts that night, it's still technically part of the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's only night there in Jerusalem where they're. Does anybody else understand what I'm trying to say, or am I just blithering?
No, keep slithering. As a matter of fact, you need to start taking over. How about some you give us a presentation.
Well, that's what Marissa found as well.
Anyway, to put it bluntly, I'm with you on March 20th, okay? Always.
Every year?
Okay?
Every year.
Every year.
It doesn't matter even if the Gregorian adds a leap day?
Exactly.
No way. It's always going to be on the 20th? So they're just playing catch up to something, right?
Yeah. And that's what Aaron Ryan, Alan Pizarak.
What are they playing catch up to?
Who? Who are you talking
Gregorian
about?
calendar, the Gregorian calendar adding that extra day.
I might be able to answer that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Well, so Jeremy, remember that kind of small recording that I sent you them jumping, some sources say they jumped 10 days, others 11, but they were making up for whatever years are missing from our timeline. That's why they jumped 10 days ahead. Now, I still don't understand why they did it in October, coincidentally, right along the week of the celebration of the Feast of Tabernacles, but they're jumping to make up for, because especially people that are going to start looking into the calendar. I believe
Yeah,
they jumped because they had to make up for lost time. What time? They don't tell us. They call it the Dark Ages, but they have to follow the luminaries too, to a certain degree.
yeah, exactly. And
I hope I didn't make that more confusing.
no, it's I understand it. And the Gregorian and Julian calendar, all that, they admit to wanting to line up with the equinox. That's like what they want to base their calendar on, or they claim to base it on that. So it holds around the equinox there. And so even when they have their extra day in February for their leap year, it's still going to line up to that equinox to Kufa. Because those are the years where it will begin in that evening, because it's 1.24 days long. So it'll begin in that evening.
But it still just gets bumped to the 20th.
Yeah, exactly. Because
we're
you
just
can,
dealing with the 0.224.
yeah.
Because
And like Dwayne was saying, you can't sight an equinox at night. So even though it starts to occur at night, we can only track it just like, the temple and the tabernacle. It's only when that sun was rising due east, and then
yeah,
boom.
consider this. I mean, if it was shown at night, this event, it wouldn't be the day before, because it would already be your Sabbath would be over. So it would have to be the next day.
Precisely.
If it started the evening before it. Well, the day's already passed. Then you see the equinox? No, that doesn't even make sense. It would have to be the next day, because it's a Sabbath. It's a Tekufa. Yeah,
So,
I get that.
yeah. And that's what
Okay, I
Melissa
have
was on. Oh,
I
go
have
ahead.
a chart here for the equinoxes listed from the year 2000 up to 49, up to year 49,
Oh,
and
send it.
except for 2 dates. Let's see, no, more than that. 2003. It shows March 21st. 2007, it's on the 21st. And 2011, it's on the 21st. And 2015. And it seemed like there was another one, which, let's see. Okay, that looks like it. Those days were on the 21st, and everything else is on the 20th of March.
Why did it occur on the 21st?
Pardon?
Why would it occur on the 21st and not the 20th, though?
Why? I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's an explanation for this, but I don't see it so far.
Who charted these?
This is, I'm not sure. Let's see, where did this come from? Well, I don't have the place. I thought it was NASA, but it doesn't say NASA. Oh, wait a minute. Just gives a website. It doesn't show where it actually comes from.
Yeah, interesting. 'Cause I know Sister Aaron Ryan and Alan Pizarak and a few others. They say they always track it on March 20th, and I know Aaron has a few of her videos up of tracking it. But
Okay,
we want to keep
from 2016 until the year 2047, there is no variance. It's all on March 20th.
What was that? I'm taking notes.
From 2016 through 2047, there's no variance. It's all on the 20th. Did you want to take the notes on the dates on here that were different?
Yeah.
Okay. 2020 or 2003, 2007, 2011, and 2015.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look into those. I'm sure Marissa could fact check to see if these were, because you said this is like a NASA document, correct?
Well, I thought it was a NASA document, but I'm not sure now.
So wait,
there's a website on here that would, I'm sure would tell me. Let's see if I can find it.
So you said 2016 to 2047.
2049.
Oh, 2049.
Is all the 20th.
Wow. And 2003, 2007, 2011, and 2015. That's weird.
So if this is wrong, then I did two years out of the last 13 years I did wrong.
I don't think so. I think if we dig into this, we could probably find that 03, 07. That's weird. They're all on 4 intervals.
Let's say
3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. That's weird.
Interesting. Are you able to send the link to that website?
Be interesting to find somebody that's been on this calendar for all of this this century.
Yeah.
To see if they've ran across this.
Well, the only person I know doing it that long is Libby.
Libby, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you get her on the phone?
She's sleeping now.
Oh, that's right.
But we can set up a private meeting.
She's in Scotland.
We could set up a meeting, though.
Yeah, you ought to do that. I'd join it. I'd love to.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, she's got a lot of knowledge and wisdom.
All right.
In the
So Dwayne
meantime,
said, so I'm
I'm going to
writing this
check.
up for Marissa. Dwayne said this document he has from maybe NASA shows from 2016 to 2049, all the equinoxes were all on the 20th. And on 03, 07, 11, and 15, they were on the 21st. Right?
Right.
All right. So we're just going to have to fact check those dates.
Does seem kind of strange, doesn't it?
Yeah, just out of the blue, there's going to be in 4 intervals of the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
It may be something that we need to know.
Right. What happened there?
Yeah, really. That's exactly what I was thinking. What happened during those years?
That's so messed up. Good find. We're going to dig into that. That's for sure. Hi, good. Nothing. Wait, Quentin, no. Dad, get him. He wants, oh, sorry. Am I still alive? Claudia's sleeping on me and Quentin just escaped.
Yeah, no worries.
Quentin, I can't even get up. She's sleeping on me. Oh, he's going to chase after all the bystanders that walk by. Gives them hugs.
Oh, but yeah, I was actually responding to Claire there. She was talking about a couple who have a dispute about the scripture in Job, and that's just one of many scriptures that will allude to this divider day. And then we also have, Genesis 1 through 2, the Dead Sea Scrolls, uh, from vernal equinox to vernal equinox, all these things that will, solidify basically. How Katrina's drawings would help. I know we have Katrina's video. Don't you have your video up on YouTube, Katrina? Your
Sorry.
visual? Oh,
Sorry.
no worries. Is your visual on YouTube?
Yep. Who wants it?
Claire in the chat.
All right. I'll drop it in.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Katrina did a visual and put it on YouTube and TikTok. So
Yeah, I plan on actually making another one.
and speaking of, yeah, we wanted to go over and make another calendar video as well, just an updated one with adding all the information that we found recently and kind of adding more information for those who don't know Zadok or don't understand Zadok. I was going to add a few things in there to kind of show, like, hey, look, Zadok, they're the ones who were ordained by Yahuah himself to preserve the calendar. So I was just going to add some things like that. Probably take out all the stuff about proving Gina Sparks and Robert Vila's calendar wrong. We've gone over that so much. But I can take that out and put stuff in for people who don't understand Zadok quite yet. And plus all the new information we found as well. Yeah, I have I got some visuals about the divider day as well. I can share them here.
So what more could you tell us, Dwayne? I'm hungry, Mom. Don't hold back.
Right now, I'm copying down a website. I'm going to find this thing out right now.
Yeah. Are we on Facebook friends too, or is this the only way I could get in touch with you?
I requested a friend request from you, and I never received it.
You're kidding me. Hold on, I'll look. Yay, we're friends. Woohoo!
All right.
Way, yeah.
Yeah, so is it okay if I call you on Telegram or Facebook to talk whenever? 'Cause you know me, I like to call people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook's fine. Well, I don't know. I very seldom, I don't get on Facebook very much. So, why don't I just give you my email address?
I'm not an emailer. I'll call
Well,
you on Facebook. You'll get it. You have Messenger, right?
I have what?
Messenger?
I don't use it at all.
Oh, well, you probably still
I'll
have.
tell you what, I'll just get more. I
If,
get,
if
I
you're
do
on
get
Telegram, I could.
notifications. I
Yeah.
get notifications of Facebook friends, so I'll be
Okay.
able to get. I'll be able to
All right.
catch it.
All right, good. Yeah, because I want to talk, and probably if I have any questions, I want to run to you. You being an elder, I want to go with, and brush some certain things off, and ask questions and whatnot with certain things, or we could go back and forth. I'd appreciate that. I can't get in touch with Libby enough. I've been trying to call her all week, but I want a strong, close connection with all you guys that have been doing this for a long time. That would be great. But yeah, definitely get down to the bottom of that. There's something fishy. That doesn't seem right. That's out of
It is,
that's out of
I
order.
never really gave it any thought until, well, like somebody mentioned not too long ago, every time we get on this particular group, it seems like some new insight comes out, and I find that quite rewarding.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah. All praise to the Most High. And yeah, I shared some of those images in there for you, Claire. So the first set of photos are going to be about the divider day, which is the day that's added after the last Sabbath. And then the second set, awesome. Yeah, it's going to be Tekufa marking day 4. And as you can see, the Tekufas are the equinoxes and solstices. Yeah, and so the question we've been asking as well, and it's already been a big part of people's testimonies here is, where is the scriptural allowance for adding a week? There is no scriptural allowance for intercalation at all. Not for a 13th month, not for an extra week, none of that. So we have Jubilees as well that shows us it's always 52 weeks of 7 days every year from year to year. And we don't see an extra week anywhere in that verse of Jubilees. If intercalation was a necessary thing, it would have been spoken about in Jubilees or Enoch or even the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's not. So by them adding this week of 7 days, they're actually adding to his word. And they have to do that because they want to line up with a Wednesday to keep the Saturday Sabbath. Yeah. So we should probably remake our video here soon about the calendar, but yeah, I want to do another video just strictly about the calendar, just to show all this information as well. Yeah, so basically what we find in the Dead Sea Scrolls is, after that last Sabbath of the year, the day is added. And then we also see the Tekufa is marking day 4 of creation week and the head of the months as well. We don't see them citing or seeing the Tekufa and then going to a Wednesday. Because actually Wednesday, as we know it today, did not even exist back then. It was some planet name, Mercury, or not Mercury. Maybe it was Mercury. I don't know. But it wasn't called Wednesday. It was named after some planet. So Wednesday didn't exist. And also, the Romans had followed that floating lunar week at that time as well. So it couldn't have always been on a Wednesday, or they would not have moved it to a Wednesday. And that's the thing too, is, we see when Yahuah shows us a sign, that means that's when it's going to be, when we see the sign. It's not wait a day, it's not wait a week, or, go ahead and move it to a Wednesday. We don't see any of that. It's,
Right.
we see the sign, it's that day.
Yeah. So when people make these presentations and they're like, oh yeah, if you're on a deserted island and you could track the equinox, how would you know what day to move it to? How? If you didn't have a Gregorian calendar on your refrigerator out in the middle of the ocean on an island, how would you know where to move the equinox to? This is a severe issue.
Yeah, it really is. Like, we're not told to move the sign.
No.
And the Dead Sea Scrolls, the sons of Zadok called people who did that boundary shifters.
Yeah, we have a boundary and people are shifting, dodging, making up excuses as to why we can't do this. We cannot do this. We cannot put Yah's calendar on top of a Gregorian never-ending cycle of 7, because that's not Yah's calendar. He divides the year, right? From 364 to day one. He divides night from day. He divides the seasons by a day. And he can't divide the year for a day. That's impossible. Rubbish. So let's put all these extra days at the end of the 6th year. And make your calendar 371 days that particular year. Rubbish. I'm hanging out with you, Scotland folks or something. Rubbish. Where did I just come with that? But it's the truth, right?
No, it is. And yeah, and Claire, I have month 12 and then month 1 there, and it'll kind of show you. So that 28th of the 12th month is going to be the last Sabbath of the year, or that 52nd week. And then I have the scrolls in there. Well, actually, this was before we made that find in 394, but I sent a screenshot of that as well. But this is where we find that after that last Sabbath, the day is added. And so that's where I have the divider day mark. And then that's where we get our new weekly cycle for the year. So it'll start day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, up to 7. But then you'll see
Dwayne,
what's that?
did Dwayne see
Oh,
that in the scrolls? Jeremy, did you see a visual on that? Dwayne, do you want Jeremy to show you the scroll?
yeah.
So it doesn't say a day is added. It has a little tiny fragment missing. So it says after the 52nd Sabbath, and there's a blank piece, and it says is added. But of course it would be a day, because right after the 52nd Sabbath, that's where we would have the monthly, in the monthly count, the divider, matching up with creation week.
The week count, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to see that? I don't know if you want to post those in the chat, Jeremy.
I already did, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, I posted them for Claire, but yeah, they're in the chat too. I got the one for the divider day, the day after the last Sabbath, and I have the ones for Tekufa, marking day 4 of the week as well. And then I have Alan's post for March 20th, and I do have Aaron Ryan's as well. I need to go and find it and move it to that album so I can easily find it. And we have plenty of photos here in our own group of many of us here tracking it on March 20th as well. Get how to start the year, but yeah. So I would just kind of check out month 12 to month 1 there, and hopefully that can kind of help show you visually. And yeah, there's Katrina's video as
Yeah,
well.
sorry. I had to find it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no,
Is Maria
Katrina's
in there?
video.
Oh no. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, Katrina's
Okay,
video.
I got on this website, and it doesn't have the full 25 years. It only has 10 years from 2020 till 2030, and this is even really weirder. I think there's something wrong, really wrong with these charts, because it shows 2020 as March 19th, and then 2024 as March 19th, and 2028 as March 19th. Now that doesn't that doesn't correlate with the one that I have that runs all the way to 2049 at all, because all those dates that it shows the 19th on this one, on the big one here is all the 20th.
Yeah, but we just tracked it on year 2024, and it didn't come up on the 19th, did it?
The 20th. Yeah.
It came on the 20th, so that's wrong. Yeah. So I mean, that's something that we've been involved with recently. That didn't happen then.
Yeah, that's how we learned these.
No, it didn't happen on the one that I'm using. This long one either. 20
Right.
On March 20th, all the way from 2016 all the way up is all March 20th. But this thing I'm looking at online here shows three dates of the 19th. Now let me check the time of day, the hour. Let's see, for the 20th.
Yeah, no, we learned different websites don't even support themselves,
They don't.
and we'll show different dates. So
I think they're just throwing up dates whenever they feel like it.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
hey,
exactly.
I went to sleep yesterday, so today.
Precisely. The closest one I found is like that Navy Tracker website, and they have to be pretty spot on, or ships will get lost at sea. And they have it like March 20th for the most part, like every single year. There's like 1 or 2 years they say it's the 19th, but for the most part, they always track it on the 20th.
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that we have all the way until 2049 before we have to check another chart.
Yeah, exactly. And we have our other witness, the 16th. So when equal day, equal night always happens in Jerusalem, we know that's the divider and it kicks off.
Yeah.
But it all just has to match up.
Yeah, exactly.
But it has been. I think Marissa did that research.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And hey, Joe, welcome, Joe. Good to see you here.
Joe, did you want to?
Thank you, brother. Hey.
Joe, did you want to give your testimony as how you came to the Zadok calendar?
I can.
Yeah.
Let me turn. Okay, awesome. For me, it started, I guess, Katrina, we've been in this about the same amount of time. What's it been, like 4 years now? Can you hear me?
He's talking to you, Katrina.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I'm sorry, I just couldn't mute it in time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been about 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I never felt comfortable with the Hillel calendar. I just always felt like something wasn't right. I've been in the Torah observant walk now. I think it's our 11th year, and for the majority of it, until I came to the Zadok calendar, something didn't feel right. It just I was like, why are we having a Passover on what would be the Shabbat? Why are we having days that are overlapping and blending, and now we're just calling them super Sabbaths and or whatever. We had like little names for them. It never felt right. I was around people who like doing new moon celebrations, and the new moon celebrations never just didn't sit with me. And one day I was watching it started with watching a video by Rachel Elior, and started listening to that, and I went and something started clicking, and I just felt like God had just been just pressing on my heart all those years, those little things of just little feelings and just stuff that I feel like it was the Holy Spirit just saying, pay attention, pay attention. This isn't just me having a feeling. This is actually me prompting you. And so I listened to her teaching, and as soon as I listened to that, then I started looking into the calendar, and then it immediately clicked. It was like, where you been all my life type thing. And so it was just one of those things where the Father I was on that path, and didn't know I was on that path until it was revealed to me. And then when I saw it, it just all made sense. It all lined up. I knew this is it. Unfortunately, for about more than half my congregation wasn't on board with it. And I'm not, with the structure of our vine, the vine we have here, I've always been accepting of, hey, whatever you keep, that's fine. Let's just fellowship. And, as far as being the vine, I would say that, this is what we're going to do. But you're free to, whatever calendar you want to do. This is mostly like we would have get-togethers and fellowship, but that seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people. They were just like, well, we just can't get behind that. I'm like, well, I'm not asking you to. You can continue doing what you're doing, but this is what those who are with the vine, and for myself, this is what we're going to continue to do. And so probably 50%, 60% of the congregation left, even though I wasn't, trying to push it on them or anything.
After you went on Zadok?
Yeah.
Wow. Half.
Yeah, they did. Well, the thing that they told me was they want to be in unity with Brother Judah. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
Do you want me to send them all the information that I have on what they think is Brother Judah? How that they should be really arrested?
Right. No, believe me, I've tried having the basically dummied down version of that with some of them, and they completely shut down. And they are following Judaism, and they feel like they're doing their part by, even though they will tell me that they know the Hello calendar is wrong, but they want to do it to be in unity of Brother Judah. And I'm like, well, I think it's the other way around. I think we're supposed to be the mirror and the light for Brother Judah, to see the correct way of doing this, and not in an arrogant way or we know better than anybody else. But I think we're supposed to be that mirror for them. We're not. If we're doing what they're doing, how will they ever be convicted of the things they're doing? It's like, if you're going to keep the Hello counter. Oh, we know it's wrong. We know it's from Babylon, but we're just going to do it. Well, then Brother Judah's looking at you now, just basically just move over to their camp. There's nothing that you're going to do, I don't think, that's going to win them over or show them a different light of anything. But that's, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So,
exactly.
I try to stay in contact with them as much as I can, and so I have friendships with people who are only, they just move to another group, and that's fine. I mean, sometimes it has to happen. There has to be a little bit of a purging take place, and the Father has to make His presence known. And hey, by the way, this is what we're doing. Joe, this is what y'all are doing, and okay. And I will tell you this, that we're going to have another discussion, and I've already broken it to the group I have with me now, about the Sabbath and about all the discussions about that, and some have been a little bit, and which I get. It's a little bit of a knee jerk when you tell them that, hey, by the way, Sabbath isn't what you think it is, or the date you think it is. And so I'm trying to break it to them in a good way, and even the ones, one of my buddies, one of my best friends, he had a knee jerk reaction. He kind of had a moment to himself. But then he came back to me like, because we fellowship all the time. So, but he came back to me a few months ago and goes, you know what? He goes, I think the Sabbath isn't what we think it is. I said, you think so? And so, but, it's just one of those things where I think if you present the information and their heart's willing to see it and to receive it, then, they're willing to change. But I get it. We're in a system, guys. We're in a system that's been going for a really long time. We were born into this system. We're so used to things being a certain way, and all of a sudden, you come into this walk, and we start actually doing the best we can with observing Sabbath and keeping Sabbath and our prep day and all this stuff, and all of a sudden you just feel like you've arrived at that, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, that isn't the day that particular day every year. And that's a hard year. That's a hard year to come out of.
No, it is, even for me.
It certainly is.
And so it's so yeah, I think there's I've been breaking it to them slowly this year, and we have discussions, and I can see the wheels turning, and then some of them, I think, or some of the guys in the group are being very receptive to it. It's just, again, I think it's about presenting the information and putting it out there and saying, hey, look. And Katrina, you said something that was really good earlier when you said, by the way, I think it was you that said it. Wednesday didn't, or Jeremy, you said the Wednesday didn't exist. If you're on the desert island that everyone likes to bring up, in the discussion about this. So back in the Zadok times, guess what? Wednesday didn't exist. They weren't going, oh, yeah, well, we got to crank it back a day or move it up a day or move it, whatever, to make it fit so that this day stays on sevens. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And so they're going to look at, they're going to observe, they're okay, this is the start. We start from here, and we go all the way till we see this sign again the next following year. And it keeps everything on track. You're not having to add
Joe, with that, when it comes to the 364 days in a 365-day solar year, if you don't skip that day and you just have a reoccurring cycle of sevens, it's just going to run into each other where Yah divides it, just like he does with the seasons. So that's why everyone's like, it has to be an ongoing cyclical 7-day cycle. And we're sitting here screaming like it is in a 364-day year.
Yeah,
it just skips one day. That's it. Not a big deal. They have to skip a whole week after 6 years anyway. What's the big deal? Just put it back in its place.
That's the argument I have too, or the logic I try to give is like, you're going to adjust one way or the other. You have to. If you don't adjust, then you're going to be out of sync. Your winters become your summers. I mean, we all know that. It's just gonna make everything eventually be out of sync big time.
But see, if it wasn't like the reason that Yahuah said that, okay, the luminaries are for the years, the days, the months, the Sabbaths, right? We could all establish, yes, this is what's being said if we believe in Jubilees, right?
Right.
But then how does that happen, right? In a continuous cycle.
Right.
Everything resets, which is why his 364 resets every single year in one day. It's so easy, but people want to make it so complicated. It's so easy.
And this is just me, but I think him putting that day in there, that divider day, actually makes it a lot simpler to keep because you actually have a fixed point to know that, hey, when we see this, this is coming. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a fixed point of it's 364, but you're going to have a fixed point every year of this. I don't know, maybe that's just, me in my head, but I think sometimes that makes it,
But you also can satisfy Genesis 1:2, 1 verse 2, that void that happened before creation week. Do you know actually people want to come to me and say, well, the sun is still out on that day? I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like, are we rehashing the Noah days of remembrance as well? No, it's just a day that we remember, we make void so that we can kick it off. There's so many scriptural references, but they all deny them too. All the scripture.
Well,
they think.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Again, going back to it is the glory of Elohim to conceal a matter, and it's the obligation of sovereigns to seek it out. He's not going to just tell us when the start date is. He's not going to tell us the equilux, the equinox. We have to find it in the scriptures. And we
Right.
did. Yeah. Everyone's
Oh,
like, well,
absolutely.
Messiah would have said something. No. Well, if you knew the calendar, you could see that he was saying something. You can see that he was eating the Passover instead of the Pharisees killing him on the Passover. You could see the difference between the two calendar. Like when his brothers were going to Sukkot and saying, oh, well, you know, you guys go up. It isn't my time yet. It isn't my time, he goes. Like, you
Right.
could see it after you know it. But no,
Right.
he's not going to come out and say, oh, you guys are on the wrong calendar. Well, if you take a look at Matthew 23, it's in there about murdering the prophets, Zadoks. It's in there all over the place. You have to know the history to understand, which is why I believe that this is the key of so much understanding. It unlocks more of the scriptures, the canon that we have, just like
Right.
Enoch does, just like Jubilees does. It's just another key to unlock what we possess.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I tell people they and more because I've been speaking about Jubilees and Enoch for a long time now, where people are more comfortable with it. But you know, it's just one of those things where there's this fear put in people, like, oh my God, don't read that book. It's like there's nothing in these books that's gonna like turn you away from y'all. Matter of fact, it's gonna strengthen your understanding in y'all, his calendar, his ways. I mean, it's incredible how brainwashed people don't realize how brainwashed we've become as a body because we're basically told what to read. We're told what to be afraid of. We're told all these things. Now, granted, you know, with measure, there's things that, yeah, if we see something that is dangerous, we tell our brothers and sisters. But, you know, the funny thing is the people who are telling you not to read it have never even cracked the book open to even see what's in it. They've never read any of it to come back to you and give you anything to justify why you shouldn't read it. Other than, oh, it's
Exactly.
Apocrypha. Yeah, that means it's hidden. So why shouldn't I? Have you studied it out to go around telling everybody not to read it yet? You know, have you looked into these matters yourself? No, of course I haven't read it. Well, then how can you tell somebody else not to read something you haven't read? Because then you're just going off of somebody else's commentary at that point that you watched the video about, and then, oh, you know, then that's it. But
Yeah, exactly. That's what we run into as well, you know, like people who haven't read the book and they want to toss out Enoch and Jubilees and they only want to stick with the 66 books. And it's like, you know, have you read them? No, I just followed or listened to such and such and he doesn't like
yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah.
And if he said not to read it, we're just not going to read it. Okay, cool. But then you really have no argument then. You know, we can't
Exactly.
have an intelligent conversation about what it actually says in the books if you have not read them yourself. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's it's one of those things, man. But I'm glad that you know, the Father's brought all of us together. I'm glad that, you know, we have these times where we can come together and fellowship and talk these things out. And yeah, I'm just really happy to be a part of you guys.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you here as well, brother. All praise to the Most High, for sure.
Amen. Yeah, I went out on a limb yesterday with one of my teachings. So I basically was telling everybody that Jesus is not the Messiah's name. And yeah, so I was like, man, I was just like, those are the ones where I'm like, God, I really hope you're yeah. So I was like, I know how people react to things, and so I was like, okay, I was gonna put in the title, Yahusha is his name and not Jesus, but I was like, well, that might be too much of a sticker shock, you know, for some people. So I'll just get you watching the video first, and then we'll talk about it. But yeah,
Yeah. And it can be a sensitive subject because there are so many out there that are like, oh, well, if you don't pronounce it the way I do, you know, I'm gonna bash your head
yeah,
in.
yeah.
And It's not like that, and it shouldn't be like that.
No, that's why in the last two videos I've done on that, I just very clear, like, hey, if you still want to use Jesus or Lord and all that stuff, I'm not going to cringe or look at you weird or call you names. That's because that's your walk. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. It's like it's not going to fray me at all. So, but as a shepherd, as someone in my position, this is what the Father's told me I need to put out there. And so that's what I'm going to put out there. It's the same thing with when a day begins. A lot of people didn't like that when we had our full congregation, years ago. When I spoke about that, they didn't like a lot of things that the Father was revealing to me, especially when it came to the calendar. They were really not liking that at all. And I even had some of my elder guys who were with me at the time want to know why I was teaching on these things. I'm like, well, because y'all told me to. I mean, I'm not teaching. I don't want to get up there and just teach a warm, fuzzy, rub your back sermons or whatever. It's like, if I go to the Father every week, what do you want me to talk about? Every week, without fail, for the last 11 years, what do you want me to talk about? And if he says this is what you're talking about, I mean, there's been times where I thought I heard from him and I didn't. And literally the day before him go, no, that's not what you're teaching on this week. You're going to teach this. Okay. And I just try to be obedient to the Father, and I have to, he's had to help me to have tough skin, but still a soft heart. And so that's been that balance there. It's like, I don't want a callous heart. He says, no, I want your skin. And your skin's got to get tougher, I still want you to have a soft heart. And so that's been a little bit of a challenge and a little, but it's Father knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a challenge for us all, really.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the thorns in your sides, I guess we could call them.
Yeah.
The ones that they'll push your buttons and.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a test. But yeah, no. And the starting the day in the evening, that's still a big one for people.
It is, and I try to make it. I try to be light about it, and it's just like, hey, again, none of us are going to the bad part of Sheol for if we think it's evening or morning to morning, but it's going to definitely will make a difference. Like, I don't see how you can keep the Enoch or the Zadok calendar and not do morning to morning. I don't see how that would work. I guess you could make it work, but in light of everything that you're going to learn when you start studying out, you're going to realize that this that's not going to work. And then when you really study it out, and you understand that a lot of this comes from their time in captivity in Babylon, and this is the way the Babylonians kept time. It's like, I don't want to do what the Babylonians were doing.
Exactly.
I don't want to, I don't want to mimic anything that they're doing, and I want to know what Yah says in His Word. And for me, it was when I saw it in Genesis for the first time, I was like, oh my God, it's literally been right in front of us the entire time.
Exactly, it has been.
It has literally been in front of us the entire time. But the trip up has been when everyone sees, oh, then it was evening to morning. See, it's evening to evening. I said, but that's not. It doesn't say evening to evening. It says, he tells you from the very get-go. He says he called the daylight and he called the darkness night. That's it. And it says then it says on the first day, then there was evening. Well, what happened? Well, he created light. His presence created the light on the first day. And then it says, then there was evening and then night. And then, that was the first day. I'm like, that's been right there the whole time.
If you read that literally, you can't help but get it completely wrong.
Right.
Because it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Okay. Yep. So there's no daylight at all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I've sat down. I've even drawn out little charts with a pen on a paper and said, "See this? We have day, then we have night, day and night." And it's like trying to show them how that flows with that. But again, it's one of those things that's ingrained when we come into this walk. We just adopted. Really, what it comes down to is we adopted another religion, and we didn't realize it.
quote
We
unquote
thought,
following Brother Judah.
yep, exactly. We went from Christianity to adopting another religion, and didn't realize, because a lot of it, it is an identity crisis when we come into this. What do we look like? How do we walk? How do we dress? What do we eat? What do we, and we have people around us like, well, I guess we'll do what they're doing, and then you learn from them, and then, then come to find out, well, we've got a lot of unlearning to do from that now. We got to back away from a lot of those things and traditions and things that we thought were okay that are Talmudic and Babylonian, and just, yeah. So it's been a journey, man. Oh, but Katrina, I wanted to tell you this too. So when you're asking about my testimony, the other thing too that never set right with me, because I knew the Zadok I knew the Father led me to the Zadok counter, 100%. I have no qualms about that. But the way that everyone kept it and still keep it was the transitioning of the day. Trying to float the Wednesday. That never set well with me, and that was another one of those indicators for me. Like, okay, I need to pay attention to this because something's not right. And then when you guys, I remember, what has it been? How many? Has it been? It's been over a year, right? Since
Yeah,
okay.
about a
And
year.
yeah, I was gonna say it's about a year, because I remember, Katrina, I think it was you or Jeremy posted something one time. It was a video or something, and as soon as I started listening to it, or it might have been something you put that I was reading, and I went, yeah, I didn't think this made. To me, it's like, this doesn't make sense.
There
Like,
you
why would
go.
all of a sudden, I know we had the one fella, he's pulling out the menorah, and he's saying, oh, this is how you do it, and you just, if it
Yeah.
falls on a Thursday, you just back it up to the Wednesday. I'm like, no, but that just didn't sit
It
right,
doesn't
man.
make any sense.
Yeah,
No, it made no sense.
and then you got the leap week, and you got all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, so if we just did it this way, the way that you guys are presenting it, if you do it this way, there's never has to be, other than the leap years, doesn't really have to be any intercalation, or any
No,
adding a week or floating a day
we don't
backwards or
even think
forwards.
that
Yeah.
we don't even think that there could be leap years, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Joe, the
That's a
way
new
we're
one to
looking,
me.
that I mean, it was kind of like a speculation, because of course we haven't been observing it. But as Dwayne just said, from 2020 to, was it 2020 to 2040 something? I have it written down. Every single
49.
49. See, I'm dyslexic with numbers. I can't do numbers in my head. So when it comes to that, it's consistently on the 20th for this particular thing. It's been consistently on the 20th for Libby, and she's been tracking it for 50 years. So, I don't know
Did you
about that
get in
extra.
contact with her and ask her about that?
She's sleeping now.
Oh, I said, did you? I thought maybe you had gone ahead and called her.
No, she's sleeping. It's really late in the UK there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Claire? Is Claire on here? Oh, no, she's not.
What?
Yeah, she's probably out too. But
Katrina?
wait, what was that?
Katrina?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I want to ask a question. What if, and I'm kind of thinking the same thing, that there's not a leap year, like we've been taught. What if there is 365.1 point whatever? I mean, 365.1 whatever, and there's 364.1 whatever. What if were to count the 364, what if the 365th day, just saying,
Right.
is the 0 day, where it's the day of Yah, and the 0 looks like a portal, and all of a sudden when he comes and we're ready that day before the 364th day that we don't count, that is the day of Yah, and it's like a zero, it's like a portal, and you're ready to start Aviv 1 starting when the kingdom comes. And then it takes 8 days after that to consecrate the priest after the tabernacle's set up.
Wow.
What if that zero is the 365th day?
Right.
The day of Yah.
Oh
Not
boy.
what if it is? What if it is?
The day no man knows.
The day that no man knows.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So what if there's not a leap year? There's not 366. There's not all this other stuff, but there's 365 and there's 364. And the day before the equinox is the day that no man knows. Be ready for the third day.
Interesting. Wow.
Is it possible? Could be. I was just thinking about that today. And I
I,
thought,
I definitely believe that that's absolutely possible.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But Lee,
Yes.
but seeing what Dwayne was just talking about and how the equinox comes in like the night before some years, could that not be the extra 0.24? Like, does it have to come up to a whole that 0.24? Because honestly, if you take a look at the equation, the excess of the sun and the stars is 6 divided by 5. And that equals 0.12. So
Yeah, 1.2.
it does,
Yeah.
and it doesn't equal 1.24 though.
Okay. Well, maybe.
There,
I mean, maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe when he said be ready for the third day, there's something to that more than I'm recognizing at this point. But maybe it's the day before Aviv 1, and we go through something, and then all of a sudden, boom, Aviv 1, because we know that Aviv 1 is very important at the start of spring, and maybe day 0 is day 3. Just saying. I don't know. It was just a thought that came to me.
Well, I
And
would think
maybe we just not figuring out certain things at this point, but maybe it could be.
can't hear me. Okay.
Oh, wait, we hear you, Ellie. I
We
just
got
heard
you.
Okay. Okay. So there's an elder brother who studied this calendar like forever. And what he does is every so many years, and I don't have the details. I'd like to communicate with him one of these days and learn it. But every so many years that he adds a day then to right there on that third day that you're talking about, Lee, that between the third day and the fourth day. So,
and actually, that's where I was thinking that second divider day would go, because you would have to not cite the equinox that day and then be like, oh, well, this must be that second divider day, which then it would bring you to the equinox.
I know in Rachel Eliar's book, she said something similar to what I was thinking, that the 365th day is the day of Yah, which would be a 0 day not counted. It's not in time. He's not in time.
right? Makes
And I've
sense.
also heard that the 4 books of the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John have all different timings. They're telling you there's Roman time. They're telling you Mashiach's time. They're telling you Pharisaical time. And they're telling you Greco time. In all, one for each time. One book for each time. I've heard that. I'm looking at it. Do I know it's true? No. But it seems to give accounts of certain things. Like they're
Yeah,
exposing the calendar, telling you there's 4
Yeah.
calendars going on at that time.
I would kind of agree because we see John in the book of John, he's saying, oh, the Passover of the Jews or this festival of the
Yeah.
Jews.
Yes.
But when it comes to that night, they actually observe Passover. He says it was Passover.
Yes.
He doesn't say of the Jews. He
Right.
just says it was Passover.
Yes.
So yeah, no, interesting.
Yeah, those 4 books are telling us that there's calendar wars going on.
Now, Jeremy, I was actually just reading Matthew, and in Matthew it said that it was the first day of unleavened bread, but that Yahusha was telling his disciples to go and prepare the Passover.
So when we read in Luke, I believe in Matthew as well, but it says it was approaching the festival of unleavened bread, on
Yeah.
which the Passover, or which is also called Passover. So the festival is unleavened bread, but that one night is Passover, which kicks off unleavened bread.
and there's another
Yeah.
aspect of that, and that is the Greek word proto can mean first or before. And it just depends on how they choose to interpret it.
Yeah, I know in Luke he explains it pretty clearly like that. Because he says,
Guys,
hey, Shabbat Shalom, Angel.
just want to say hi. Shabbat Shalom.
Glad he could be here.
Here, you too.
But yeah. In Luke, he explains it like that. He says, and the festival of matzah, or before, something about, I don't know the words exactly, but he says the festival of matzah, which today is called Passover, was coming up. It's worded in that way. I have it in my article I wrote up, but he correlates it with, they're basically the same thing. Passover is just part of the festival of unleavened bread. Like, it's not the festival of Passover. Passover is one night out of the unleavened bread. And because Passover occurs at night, it's actually starting just before unleavened bread would actually kick off, like the evening before. And then we see the first day of unleavened bread is actually the high Sabbath. Like, Passover isn't the high Sabbath, but the festival of unleavened bread is. Which actually correlates with, Abraham going to sacrifice Isaac, and it was the 15th of the first month, same day as the unleavened bread, and that's where he started that festival. And then they loved it so much, or no, Sukkot, it was Sukkot they loved so much, they added that 8th day. So then, by the time of the Exodus, they added basically that 8th day to unleavened bread as well, but at the beginning, which would be Passover. And it kind of correlates because, Passover is at the beginning of the year, so that quote unquote 8th day would be before the festival, but Sukkot is at the end of the year, so that 8th day is at the end of the festival. It's really interesting, the connection, honestly. And yeah, I don't remember who it was that brought up, like a Passover cannot fall on a Sabbath day, like a 7th-day Sabbath, because you would have to break the Sabbath day command to observe the Passover, because you're not supposed to kill or slaughter on a Sabbath day. but you're supposed to slaughter the lamb on Passover. So you can't put one above the other or make one less important than the other, because
That's
they're
right.
all very important. Yeah. And some
Well,
people
yeah,
don't
that
seem to understand that. Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
brother.
I was saying that earlier. That was one of my red flags for when we were following the Hillel calendar. That was when I was saying I didn't understand how, because up until that point of switching over to the Zadok calendar, there had been a couple years within that probably 5-year period where the Passover was following a Shabbat, or it might be follow right after a Shabbat. And again, I was just told, well, what do we do with this? And they're like, oh, it just becomes a super Sabbath or double Sabbath. And I was like, okay. So I just didn't make any sense, because there was nowhere in Scripture that ever said, oh, by the way, when this happens, because the priests have an order, a priestly order. So if they've Sabbath is, people realize that Sabbath is set apart. And that's the one part for even for people who've been in this walk for a long time. I'm like, do you not get that this is a set apart day to Yah? It was from the very beginning of creation that He consecrated this day. This is the sign of the covenant with His people. Because they're like, well, where does it say in the Bible that one day can't go over another day, or cross over another day, or lay on the same day, or whatever? I said, because these are set apart days. These are specific times that He gives us. And so there's nowhere in there that He ever says that He never told Moshe, hey, when this happens, I mean, He could have easily said then, because we have chapters of Him saying, and I'll say to the people, on the 15th day of, it goes through the whole thing from Passover all the way to Sukkot. At any point here, He could have said, and by the way, if it happens to fall on a Sabbath, this is what you do. But we get no instructions from that at all, for that at all.
Yeah, He could have said, here's a list of super Sabbaths.
Yeah, you're going to have a super Sabbath or a double Sabbath coming up, and it's like, no, it's, and the priests would have known that, especially the priests would have been prepared for that, for something like that. But we have no recorded history of all from Genesis all the way to all the books that we have before the New Testament. We have no recorded history of going, oh, and by the way, yeah, it fell on the Shabbat, so we double killed everything, got the fire blazing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But
all right, priest, it's your day to work double time.
yeah, it stinks to be you today. Sorry. You're gonna have the weekly sacrifice, and you're gonna be preparing lamb for everybody. Here you go. But I would say this, as far as I would say a frustration that I have with people in general, and especially in this walk, is sometimes I feel like everybody's a little too lackadaisical about stuff. They will get, very adamant about, oh, Sabbath, yeah, oh, this, oh, that. But when it comes to, like, looking at logic or looking at things, they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Well, we're just going to do this. Oh, we're just waiting for Jesus to show up and show us how to do it all. I'm like going, I feel like I'm getting a lot of excuses. I'm like, don't you think our Heavenly Father loves us, and that He would, if we seek Him, that He would show us these things and reveal these things to us, not leave us lost the entire time? But I just keep feeling like, oh, and then I hear people saying, what does it matter? I'm like, what does it matter? Come on, man. that one floors me when I hear people say that. What does it matter? Okay.
No, I agree. That's a very lukewarm excuse that I hear a lot. Like, oh, well, Messiah is just going to fix it, so why should we bother to try? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, where's that in scriptures? Where does it say, don't bother, just wait until Messiah comes? No, it doesn't
Yeah.
say that at all. It actually says endure to the end. So keep
Yeah.
searching, keep testing these things. You're not going to have all the answers.
Oh, absolutely. That was one of the things too. I was like, here's the deal. Do we have all the answers at the time when I'm having this conversation with someone? Like, do we have all the answers, or do I have all the answers yet for the Zadok calendar? No. And then their excuse again will be, well, see, we don't know if any of them are right, and they're all probably wrong, so we're just going to keep doing this. I said, but let me just say this. I can prove to you and show you in Scripture this is what the men that y'all appointed were doing. I'd rather err on floating a Wednesday than doing a Babylonian pagan calendar. If I was going to pick which one that I was going to err on, I said I'd rather err on something that I can show you biblical proof, whether or not you believe in Jubilees or Enoch or not. I said we can go back to the Scriptures and look through Scriptures now. That we've been in this for a while, we can now see more through the Scripture. This is what the priests were doing. I said I'd rather err on at least what the men of God were doing than a pagan nation.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's the same like what you were saying earlier. Like we don't see any of that. We don't see Moses or Yahuah telling Moses, "Oh, by the way, if these two things fall on the same day, do this." Like it's not mentioned. Just like sighting a moon, it doesn't even say what a new moon is, and it's because new moon doesn't exist. We know that, but you know, if it was something that was important and we had to do it, there would be a description of what it was, and we would have Moses sighting moons for things. But we don't have that. We don't have like Moses went up on the hill over here and sighted this sliver moon in the evening, starting such and such month. Like we never once do we see that anywhere. And if it was something we had to do, I'm sure there would be several examples. So we would know how to do it.
Jeremy, you would think at some point, with thousands of years of history before Yeshua shows up, you would think there would be something. There would be like at least written somewhere.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
I mean somewhere. But you don't have it, and that's because its calendar is perfect. It's not gonna. The days aren't going to profane themselves. They're not. You're profaning the day of Yah when you start overlapping and having festivals on the same day. And this is the way I like it too. And this is me. Is that all of us are dead, and these are special times with Dad. And if I was in that situation where I knew, hey, for a fact, my kids, I'm gonna show up, and these are my appointed days. I'm gonna make sure I'm there. I'm gonna be a part of what my kids are doing because I love my kids. I wouldn't cheat myself by having two of my days into one. You know what I'm saying? These days are set aside because these are important. Why would I ever want to allow these days to ever combine or be on the same day or anything like that? Because I cherish the time with my kids. So I'm cutting myself a day short if I'm going to allow the way I'm going to let things flow. And every so often, it's going to happen. So we're all going to be cheated out of that time together with each other.
Exactly. And the days aren't drifting into each other and then drifting apart. They're at a set time, so they would always be the same days. Like this isn't rush hour in LA where everything's drifting all around. No, it's
right.
like it's his calendar. Like they're set days for a reason, and they're not just going to drift into each other. And observe Passover over the Sabbath on this one day. Just go ahead, defile the Sabbath. Don't worry about it. No, it's they're set apart for a reason, and the name itself, set apart, implies that. Like it's set apart from every other day.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's really so simple to understand. And like you were saying, it's all over scriptures, just the quote unquote 66 books. 1 Samuel, what is it? There in Acts over right there, we see Paul observing what only fits the Zadok calendar. The death, burial, and resurrection of Messiah himself proves it. And people can disagree all they like, but Scripture says what it says, and that can't be disproven. They can dismiss the evidence and then insert their own theology, but it's not going to work. Scripture says what it says.
Yep, exactly. Oh, I was gonna say one more thing on that too. It's like, you know what's funny about this is me and Jonathan. Jonathan's our right hand guy. We've been studying this thing out together for the last 4 years. And what's funny is that we will get at the beginning of this, we will get 100 questions. We get drilled. This, that, this, that, this, that, which is fine because that just sharpens us up. Means we're going to research things, we're going to look into things more. I'm talking about down to the nitty gritty. People are just so they got to have the absolute, literally, y'all show up and slap them upside the head and tell them, yeah, this is it. I mean, they're looking for the absolute 100%. You guys show me something that's going to make me change my mind right now. And I looked at a few of them and I said, you know what? You didn't have this much faith when you started following Hello Calendar. Did you ever question Hello Calendar like this? Did you ever question anything that you're doing like this? But man, you guys put us under the microscope like, we're committing heresy here, and you want the absolute 100% concrete scripture, and when we give it to you, they just dismiss it. But I'm like, you don't even know how your calendar even works. I told myself, I can tell you how the hello works. I said, I've actually studied it out. I said, have you studied your calendar out? Well, no, I said, no, you haven't. But you're going to sit there and drill me like a drill sergeant about every little thing, and you haven't even done it for yourself yet. And you couldn't even tell me how your own calendar works.
Exactly. Like when the moon people state Psalm 104 and they're like, see, the moon is for months. I said, well, Psalms 104 doesn't say the moon is for months there, though. Joe, like, hello, it doesn't say months. It says appointed time. And it doesn't say Yah's feast days either. Because if it was talking about Yah's feast days, guess what?
It would
Find me how the moon is setting the feast days then. Show me. It can't. They can't do it. They can't even see from their very own verse that they literally hang their whole calendar on, Psalms 104, that it doesn't say that the moon is for months. It says appointed times. And in context, Joe, it says the
You breaking up, Katrina?
No, you're breaking up.
I thought it was me not hearing her.
Yeah, me too. I was like, is that me?
Not you this time, Ellie.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I just had to shut down this Wi-Fi because my dad's Wi-Fi, I guess, is really, really, really spotty. But for like Psalms 104, everyone wants to say, oh, the moon is for months, moon is for months. Well, it doesn't say that in Psalms 104 or Psalms 136 or Sirach 43. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that at all. It says that the moon is for appointed times. But then it goes out to give you what those appointed times are if you just keep reading. It says when the beasts come out in the forest to creep, and the young lions roar and for prey, seeking their food. And then the sun arises, and they withdraw and lie back down in their dens. So what's the moon for? Nighttime. Its appointed time is at night. Right?
Yeah.
It's not saying anything about moons. But that's what they use.
The night can be referred to as a season too.
Sure. But this is what they build their whole calendar system on. That and the confusion of Kodesh. I know.
It makes you a beast.
Right.
If you keep it at night, because the beasts come out to devour at nighttime. So if you're doing things on the nighttime, you're not the children of light. The beasts are going to eat you and get you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had a brother. The Psalms 104 is a very popular thing for them to try to make a stance on. But
Yes.
one of the guys, he would come over before we moved out here to the country. He'd come over to my house every afternoon after service, and he would leave the other fellowship that left me. He would come over just to ask questions about the calendar. So me and Jonathan would literally talk to him like for months. He would come over and we would have 2-hour, 3-hour conversations, right? Then all of a sudden, and I hadn't studied out 104 yet. Me and Jonathan were still young in our understanding. I hadn't studied out. I hadn't even heard Psalms 104 yet. He goes, well, what about Psalms 104? I said, well, I don't know that. I haven't looked at it. He goes, oh, well, you haven't looked into that, but then how can you be doing this calendar if you haven't? I'm like, dude, I just literally answered like 100 of your questions, showed you scripture, and you're now all of a sudden have to like you got footing on one verse, and all I did was tell you I haven't looked into it yet. That's it. And all of a sudden he thought he won. He thought he won a jackpot. I'm like, dude, I said, let's get real, bro. I saw this answer. We've been giving you answers for the last months, for hours. And this one thing that you told me, I was like, well, I need to read it and look into it. Oh, you don't know that? And blah, blah, blah. Like, he just thought he had the leg up on me. I'm like, relax, Kojak. I'll get back to you on it. We'll talk about it. And then I got back to him once I researched it, basically what you were saying. And then he didn't have anything else to say after that. But
Yeah, no, we experience that a lot. A lot of people, will answer every single question they throw at us, and all of a sudden they'll throw one that we haven't heard before or something.
yeah,
And they're like, they act like it's this aha, I gotcha moment.
yeah.
And then when you go and search it out and you come back with them, just like you said, we're like, oh, hey, we got the answer here, and nothing gets said about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. But yeah, we experience that a lot. I've noticed that a lot with quite a few people in the Torah movement. It's like they don't understand their own calendar, where it came from. All you got to do is look up the Babylonian calendar and see. But they don't even understand that. They're just like, oh, well, such and such says, this is what we should look for. So that's what we're going to do. But then they'll go ahead and critique you on everything about the Zadok calendar.
Right.
And it's like, hold on.
Have you guys heard the latest comeback for that, though? Or I say the latest, it's probably been about 8 months ago or so. I started hearing through the whispers of other groups that the calendar that the Babylonians were keeping is what the Israelites taught them. So they were actually keeping Yah's calendar in Babylon. That it wasn't Babylon's calendar, that they were actually following the people in exile. I'm like, that's not normally how that works. We're going to take you and control your life and bring you into exile. And then, that's the calendar you keep? Oh, that looks great. Let's go ahead and keep that calendar of your God. That's not. Yeah, come on, man.
Wow.
So I was like, I had a lady come to me, but she keeps the lunar Sabbath, but she keeps it a little bit different than the other guys. Like hers changes, I think every week instead of every month. And she's like, well, maybe it wasn't so. Maybe the Babylonian time, maybe they were actually keeping the calendar of the people. I was like, I don't think so, but not going to, because mainly I think that's for people who are still trying to hold on to the moon and trying to hold on to the moon of the counting of the months and all that stuff. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I heard more whispers of that with other groups saying, oh yeah, maybe they were just keeping y'all's calendar. No,
that's fake. You already know.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing is a lot of these groups, they'll isolate verses and say, oh, well, this has to be, whatever date of this month. He's like, well, the scriptures doesn't actually say what date of the month that was. And they're like, well, you have to have our understanding to understand it has to be this date of the month. And then you go back a few verses and it tells you a date of the month, and you just count forward, and it's like, well, this doesn't add up to the prior verses saying what day it was. And then they always had some excuse. And, you know, Covenant Calendar Club is mainly one of them that does that, because me and Katrina had like a 3-hour discussion with them, and they were pulling dates out of Joshua, and they were claiming like Joshua has the Creator's calendar in it. And I was like, no, it doesn't. It describes a few dates here and there, but they were going on reading it, and they were just pulling out dates like out of thin air. They'd read a verse, isolate it, and see like, and they would say like, oh, well, see, this verse is talking about this day of this specific month. And it's like, well, according to what? Well, it just has to be, because that's the way it fits our calendar. And it's like, well,
Right.
that's not how it works. But yeah, and
Yep.
you know, those were the people that were just trashing Zadok, like every other word. Like they brought up the moon calendars a couple times, but literally every other word was just trashing and bashing on Zadok. And it's like, have you guys read Ezekiel 44? Because it's not us who are following Zadok, who you're trashing. It's who ordained to do all this stuff that you're trashing. So
Exactly.
in effect, you're trashing Yahuah. So I mean, but yeah, it's I don't know. That's why we wanted to do basically our updated calendar video. Like just kind of take out some of the stuff that was proven Robert and Gina's calendar incorrect, and add more stuff for those who don't quite understand Zadok, or are new to understanding it.
Right.
What
Because I wanted to take.
the other?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to change the subject too much. Well, I guess it doesn't really, but one of the sisters showed showed a menorah and the straight line through the center of it as the equinox the other day. Does anybody remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's something I want to show you. I'm going to turn on my video. Is that okay? Was that okay, Jeremy?
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this, I don't know whether you can see this or not. I made this menorah out of a piece of oak some years ago. And, there's 7 words in Hebrew on Genesis 1:1. Bereshit, bara, Elohim, Bereshit, bara, Elohim, et, hashmaim, viet, haaretz. Okay, and then down through the middle, of course, is what I noticed that I hadn't thought about before was that equinox line, right straight from the sun down through the straight line. I added that last night. The sun on here. It's supposed to be yellow. I haven't finished this thing yet. But anyway, there was something else that I wanted to add to this. It seems like the menorah tells us an awful lot of things that we're not aware of, or maybe I wasn't aware of. Maybe a lot of other folks are. But then something I noticed, I'm not sure anybody will agree with this or not, but I'm thinking that in Genesis where it says, "Let there be light," I've been wondering, is that the actual time of the begetting of Yeshua? Because in John 1, when it says he is the light.
Yes, I'd say it's Yeshua coming forth.
Yeah, I do as well. And
That's his begotten time then.
Yep, that's my understanding as well.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that. I just wanted to see if anybody would agree with that. But like I did say, the menorah I think has even a lot more than that to tell us.
Absolutely.
There's something very, very special about it.
And it's because, not many people realize how important the number 4 is as well. Because the fourth
Yeah.
commandment is keep the Sabbath. The fourth gate, fourth portal, the fourth day that starts the monthly count. And then on the 4th of the first month is the first 7-day Sabbath. It's just,
And by the
it's
way, that center one is the fourth day. If you're reading Hebrew, Bereshit bara Elohim Viet off, that's Aleph Tau, right? And that's the very first in Genesis. And then what's Revelations 21? It says he is the Aleph Tau.
exactly, yes. The Aleph and the Tav.
First and the last, even in the Bible.
Wow. Yeah. No, amazing. Like I definitely believe that light that was created, or I wouldn't say created, but came to be, that was Messiah. And I know there are people who will disagree with that because we've had a couple on here who would disagree. Who
Oh, I
actually
knew
kind
there
of,
would be somebody.
yeah. I know there was one, it was a sister, I happened to mention that, and it turned into just kind of going back and forth for almost 2 hours about, was it Messiah or was it not? So yeah, there's definitely people who would disagree, but I believe it was Messiah.
And
And
that would be, where so many people have said, well, that light had to be daylight. I've had people say that, so that's why they keep the calendar the way they do.
and I've even gotten where people think that we think it's the sun, and it's like, no, the sun was created day 4, so that was not the sun.
Yeah,
So no,
yeah,
we don't believe that.
exactly.
Yeah. Can I share this with you guys real quick? I apologize. I'm a little bit loud. I'm in a cab right now. Um, but I will give you my opinion on that. I do believe that that was the Father. When it says, let there be light, that was Yahusha. That's him. That's it. John 1:1 pretty much lays that out about as clear as it's going to get. I don't see there's anything other than that. Here's the thing: when we talk about light, um, you guys know, and you may know this, and I wish I knew the technical term, and I apologize, but it just hit me when y'all were talking about this. I might be saying this wrong, so please forgive me if I am, but there's protons that are in the air. And so when we see our sun in the sky that's going across, it's not direct light from the sun that illuminates everything around us. It's the protons in the air that actually get illuminated, and that's why when the sun's going away from us, it could be technically what we call sunset, but you're like, wow, I can still walk outside for the next 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and still see, or it's still bright enough where you can see the sun's going past the horizon, but you still see light. And that's because the energy that comes off of the sun actually excites these protons. It actually causes it to illuminate. So if these protons are present at that time when Abba's there and Yahusha's there with him, and because of, I believe the Father is emanating light. He is power. And so if those protons are present at the time of him being here during creation, it's actually going to cast an illumination in that entire area where he is. So anyway, I just want to share it with you because I think about Revelation. It says there'll be no need for the sun because of the Father and the Son being there in the New Jerusalem. As I believe that the energy that they give that will be given off will actually illuminate. It will excite the protons in the actual air around us that will cause it to illuminate, and there won't be the need for the sun for that because the Father will give off his power and his glory at that time. So anyway, I just want to share that with you real quick.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah, John is a very powerful backup for that light being Messiah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we see Psalms. They say the Torah is light, and Messiah is the living Torah. So he's going to be light as well. So yeah, no, I believe that's what started the counting of days, because we also see not only in Enoch but Daniel as well. They call him the head of days or the ancient of days, and I think it has to do exactly with what happened there before that light came to be, which started the counting of the days. Because we all agree, the day starts in the morning. So when we see that light, that's what's going to be starting our day. So anything before that light would be technically before the counting of days.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we still experience. And that's why we see that, 365 days in a solar year, we're told only to observe 364. And then Marissa actually did the math there in Enoch 74. And if you actually do that math, it'll be like a day off. And why? Because that math starts with counting at 0. So if you start at 0 with Enoch's math there, it's going to line up perfectly, which was really an amazing find, honestly. Marissa has so much to add to the group. Where is she? She's not here. I was hoping she can explain that, but yeah, she did that math there in Enoch 74, when it's talking about uh, after so many years, the sun has, this many days, and so many years, that many days. But if you do the math, it doesn't quite add up. They fall a day short unless you start at 0, and then they line up perfectly. I just thought that was really interesting because it lines up with everything, we've found so far. Yahuwah started at nothing, that void, darkness, chaos at the beginning. It was basically starting at 0, and then he worked from there. So each year, that's how we determine each year. We start with 0, and just like in school, we're taught to count starting at 0. And computer programming, they say the most efficient way to do computer programs is to start at 0. But just so many things that kind of allude to that, and it's like, wow. It just makes so much sense once you understand it. And yeah, like what Lee was saying, the day that nobody knows, well, did nobody know it because everybody had forgotten about it, and everybody forgets, like, hey, we need to start counting at 0. I don't know. It's just, I don't think there's coincidences, honestly. Yeah, no, a whole lot of interesting stuff. I just know, ever since I started studying the Zadok calendar, like back in 2017, 2018, I knew that it was it. I just had that feeling. Like I couldn't explain it all like I can now, but back then I just felt it was it. And then ever since then, I've been diving in, testing and studying, and I've been trying to spread the word about Zadok calendar for quite some time, ever since. But it's good to, come together and be able to, find out the true methods versus, well, we're not going to add a day every year. We're just going to let them accumulate and then add them all at once every 6 years or however many
Yeah.
years. And not only is there no scriptural backing for that, there's no mention of any kind of intercalation that would be necessary. I think that's a big part, and there are those who observe a Zadok calendar and they straight up only do 364 days. But the problem is with that is they start drifting into the winter with their year start. And then you're going to have, first fruits of barley and wheat in the winter time.
Yep.
And you don't have barley and wheat in the winter. So that's going to be a dilemma. And, we see all over Enoch, even in scriptures itself, it's the sun and the stars that are making these determining factors. We don't see the moon making determining factors. We see it's for a witness, and its appointed time is, at night, for a light at night. Even though it's not always out only at night, it does come out during the day, like 10 days each month, I believe. Which is actually another clue to as to why, 4Q320, the Mishmarot scrolls, everyone likes to use to say, oh, look, they had moon phases in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Well, no, because the only thing that always shines from evening to morning will be these 4 leaders of the heads of the thousands of stars that Enoch speaks about. And that's exactly what we see written in Jubilees chapter 12, verse 14, where Abraham sat up on the head of the 7th month to observe the stars from evening to morning. And that's the thing, too, is a lot of people who want to use that moon cycle, they don't use the stars at all. And it's like, they're a very important factor. Actually, a lot of people don't want to use the stars at all. They just kind of toss them out. It's like, they're there, but, who cares about them, right? Or the ones that do use them, they'll only use like, oh, well, we see the Spica star, so it's around this time. They don't quite understand, like, the witness that they actually serve. And the same with the moon. And it's because, they read Enoch, or they don't read Enoch, whichever. But, if they do read Enoch, they misinterpret it, unfortunately. And they get as far as chapter 73 about the moon, and that's about as far as they get. And they're like, see, look, the moon. Enoch says it. But when you actually read Enoch, you'll see several other verses in 72 and I think it's 80. But it speaks also about the 4 intercalary days, the 4 heads of the thousands of the stars, and how the sun and the stars are bringing in the years.
Hey, Joe?
Yes.
When you get a chance, I have done this, and I've shared this with Jeremy, but go out before the equinox day and get your camera, get your tripod, get you some spray paint, be in the same spot, maybe in a high area where you can see the sun coming up and the moon coming up, and the moon setting and the sun setting. Go out and put you some spray paint on those 4 legs of the tripod, so when you go back and do the sun and film it, you'll remember when it says the sun knows it's going down?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the equinox. If you'll do the moon before the sun, watch where the moon sets, mark that point, take a video of it, then go out and set your tripod up the next day and watch the sunset. You'll see it set in the exact same spot in the 4th year. Every year.
Wow.
Reed, it's really, really, really hard for me to hear you for recording's sake. Could you repeat that again? Maybe get a little bit of a better connection or something. You're really low.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. There was a
Okay.
lot of background noise.
That wasn't me.
Okay. So yeah, if everyone could have their thing on mute so that we could hear Lee, that would be awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay. If you'll take a tripod, go out the night before the equinox. Take your tripod, get in an area where you can see the moon coming up and the moon setting. Okay. And mark you some spots with some spray paint. This is what I did. So I can set my tripod up. Don't move the zoom back and forth because I made that mistake too.
Wait. I am so sorry. Wait, I'm just going to record this because I just want to blast this and post it like it's no tomorrow. Hold on. Let me just record this privately so that I could have it, so I could boost it. Because this is great. If I get another witness to shut down Psalm 104, this will be awesome. All right. Ready? All right. Take it away.
Camera action.
Go.
No, if you'll take a tripod, get in a high area. Okay. Don't mess with your zoom on your camera. Go out, get you a spot where you can see the moon coming up, rising, and the moon setting, and the next day the sun rising and the sun setting. Go out and point it to the east, take a picture of the moon rising, and then go to the west and take a picture of the moon setting. And then the next day when the sun comes up, take a picture to the east of where the sun comes up and put your tripod in the same spot. It will come up in the same spot as the moon came up. And the moon, when it's set, make sure that you're focused in where it's set. I don't care if you do it between two mountains or whatever, which is really good because it really shows the definition of how it's setting. Then when the sun comes up the next day and it sets in the east, it will set in the exact same spot as the moon set. Every year. It will do that. And that's why the sun says it knows it's going down. Because they both sit in that fourth gate.
Referring to Psalm 104.
Yes.
Is this only on the equinox?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, but you'll have to take the moon before the sun comes up on that day. Because the moon will come up at a different time. But they'll both be equal during that day too, opposite of each other. But they will exactly set. So you'll have to do one the day before and one on the next day. And you'll see that they both come up out of the same gate and then they both set in the same gate. Take a camera and go out and try that. You'll see.
Yeah, I think that's what Marissa had found too.
Uh-huh.
Not dependent on what phase of the moon. It's just when it's rising and setting in that same gate.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's just another witness to the equinox.
Correct.
Psalms 104.
Yep.
Boom.
That's right. It's a witness. It's a faithful witness. It's a faithful witness that it's set in the same gate. And the sun knows it's going down.
There you go. There's your Psalms 104. Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. People must mistake, it being a witness with it being a determining factor. And I think that's what they do.
That's right.
It's got to be per month. And no, it's not. That's not the witness that it is used for.
Right. Psalms 104 does not anywhere say that the moon is to be done by the the months need to be determined by the moon, not anywhere, not in any verse. As a matter of fact, Jubilee says that her cycle is 10 days off. So in 3 years, you'll be 10 days off Yah's cycle. It's a dangerous spot to be. Her cycle is 354. The sun cycle is 365.24. That's 10 days off. 11, really, as that's what Marissa found.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if that one scripture, I don't know that it pertains to the calendar, but it talks about in Revelation, you'll have, it talks about the Church of Smyrna, or assembly. You'll have tribulation 10 days, be faithful unto death, and I'll give you the crown of life. I don't know. I was just thinking on the third day also that it's the fruit within its seed. And it also says the 144,000 don't harm any green thing until I have sealed them. I wonder if that sealing is that third day.
The day before the equinox.
Yes. The zero. Yeah. With
Well,
no
see,
man.
that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Because when I was trying to go over the calendar and the cycles with Jeremy and Marissa, and they're showing me that the 0 day has to fall on the equinox day, but that's going to cause, and they're trying to say that's
the day before.
I know, Jeremy, that's what I was saying. The 0 day has to go the day before in that cycle.
Yeah.
It has to go on day 3.
Yes, it's
not day 1.
day.
Yeah.
Be ready for the third day. Yes.
The day or hour no one knows. Huh.
Correct. Yes.
Because you don't even necessarily know which year that that time whenever the additional day comes in on what would have been the third day. You don't even know which year that comes in because you don't get it until the when the fourth day is, because you already started your count when you thought it would be the 3. You've already taken out the day after the last Sabbath of the year. That 365th day you haven't counted, but every so many years when the straight line day comes, there's a day between that just plain isn't counted. That's amazing.
Yeah, it must be 3. I mean, we're looking at leap days. I mean, I think they got us whacked. I just think it's 364 count 1, 364 count 1. Yes, the 365th day does exist, but I'm wondering if that's the third day before the fourth day. And remember, he said, when you raise up the tabernacle of David, okay, the tabernacle was built on the 1st of Aviv. It went up, started going up. They consecrated the priest. And on the 8th day, they were consecrated. On the 8th day of Aviv 1.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think it's speaking about the solar cycle starting at 0 day, because the solar cycle starts on day 1, day 4, week of creation, day 1 of month 1. I think that might be in reference to this second divider day, if we experience one, because that day would be, in my opinion, added between that third and fourth day, which is what Davidson does, basically. They'll put the divider day in between the third and fourth day. And it's because they're looking at the sun, following strictly the sun. But we have to follow the Creator. And, we start our counting of days when He does. And it's day 1, the week of creation. But yeah, no, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like Messiah, let there be light, and there was light the first day. And all of a sudden, the third day, it's like, to me, a 0 day of the resurrection and raising up the tabernacle of David the next day, the fourth day, starting Aviv 1. Just a thought.
Definitely interesting stuff.
Yeah. Here's something to look at. Not saying that's correct. Just something to look at.
Every thought pushes us forward.
Yes.
Us coming together and hashing it out as a group keeps pushing us forward as well. And it's just when we're all here together, the Ruach is here with us.
Well,
We go,
that's what I mean.
yeah, I love it.
I had a question about Psalms 104. Have y'all ever maybe looked at as when it talks about the moon knowing the going down of the sun and all that stuff? Ever thought about that being like the bride and the bridegroom going into the same chamber together, going into the wedding chamber?
I think the sun is a picture of the bridegroom.
Yeah, I mean, the moon's always been looked at as being the feminine, and the sun the masculine. So that's what I don't know. In my thoughts, I was thinking of. I wonder if there's some kind of connection there again to the bride and the bridegroom. Yeah, just throwing it out there.
I believe that as well because yes, even in was it Jacob's dream? The sun represented the father, and the moon the mother, and the stars
Oh, you
the
mean
children.
Joseph's dream?
Yeah, Joseph. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the sun and the moon have that correlation, where the sun is leading, but the moon is a witness to the sun, just like
Right.
a wife would be to the husband.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
And here's the thing with that too is I look at like just with Joseph's dream, how the brothers looked at as the stars. It's like that's why I think we see the moon during the day and at nighttime because that's mom basically checking on everybody. Where the sun is direct, he's doing his thing, he's doing the purpose of what he's sent to, and that's why the mother part of that is like it's checking, it's now observing the things during the day and looking over the children at night. I don't know. That's just my brain working on it, but I've always looked at it. For the first time I really started looking at Joseph's dream, I was like, oh, so this is like mom, dad, the kids, and this is why the moon kind of wavers, back and forth, is because it's basically doing the duties. It's being a mom. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. But
It's confirming what the sun is doing.
Yeah.
Just like
And then
wife.
and then we have Psalm 19 to the chief musician, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the esteem of Yah. Ezekiel 43, 1-7. That's showing the esteem of Yah, right? When the sun moves into its position and shines its light through the pillars to light up the temple. There's your esteem of Yah. This is what it's talking about. And the firmament, the dome, declares the work of his hands. This is creation week. What does he make with his hands? Creation week. And this is held for the equinox to come in, his esteem to come in. Psalm 19:2. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. Look at that. A day begins at sun up, then evening, then there's night, then there's morning. One whole day. That's showing structure right there. The third verse. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Luminaries are our silent witness. Verse 4. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, the spring equinox, or the fourth day of creation week, where the temple or the tabernacle would light up, showing Yah's esteem. Ezekiel 43 again. For the sun. For the sun. Yeah, for the sun. So he set up a tabernacle for the sun. We cannot move this day to a Wednesday. This is day 4 of creation week, period.
So
Verse 5.
So
Which
day 3 being resurrection day, and then day 4 you see his esteem.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's all pointing to maybe that day.
Yes. Yes.
Where that, oh my goodness, where that day ends.
Maybe the moon is a picture,
Well,
because the moon goes down first, and then the sun knows it's going down. Well, it sets in the same gate. Maybe that is a picture of the woman being ready before that fourth day of his.
That's right.
Right. The bride is waiting for the bridegroom.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we see that's actually the day Messiah was crucified, was on the fourth day, and then he actually resurrected on the Sabbath day.
Showing the fulfillment of the creation week.
Yep.
Wow. He ate the Passover on the third day. He ate the Passover on the third day.
Revelation.
Go ahead there, sister.
No, I was just saying this is Revelation.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
Verse
yeah,
6.
no, it's,
Wow,
He
where
goes,
two or more are gathered together.
yeah, verse 6. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. There you go. There it is. The third day is the end of that monthly circuit, starting afresh on the fourth day. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The Torah of Yahuwah is perfect, bringing back the being. The witness of Yahuwah is trustworthy, making wise the simple. The orders of Yahuwah are straight, rejoicing the heart. The command of Yahuwah is clear, enlightening the eyes. The reverence of Yahuwah is clean, standing forever, firm. The right rulings of Yahuwah are true and the righteous, and they are righteous altogether. Boom.
As the sun shines from the east to the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
Well, we have people denying the sun now. Not going to work out well for them then, huh?
yeah, no, it's truly wild. They want to deny the sun.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, that's going a bit too far.
Nah, yeah.
The biggest, most powerful physical thing in the universe or in our universe, and it's disregarded.
Yeah, thrown away.
And they want to say, "Oh, Satan's doing something with it," or they got fake sons and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Well, the thing is, Satan wasn't given dominion over anything in the heavens.
correct.
The
Just
That's
on earth.
right.
luminaries
Yeah.
are in the heaven.
Just on earth. Yes.
That's exactly right. He had
Sure,
only
he can hide
dominion
them with,
over the earth.
exactly. So since the luminaries are in the heaven, he has no dominion over them. So
That's
they're
right.
going
That's
to be
where our
there.
eyes, that's why we need to look up.
Yeah. And, they want to throw all this, oh, well, there's, fake sun simulators and moon simulators and star simulators. And it's like, oh, so that's why they're manipulating the weather and chemtrailing us to death. So they can hide everything up there. So they can hide their fake stuff and
Exactly.
put up. Like, come on. Yeah. And it's
Look
just,
up.
yeah.
Your redemption draws nigh. When these things begin to take place, stand up, lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. Ugh.
Up to
When what?
the sun, moon, stars and see what's going on.
Yeah, when you see the Son of Man coming in the clouds, we're supposed to be looking up, waiting.
I believe they created that rabbit hole of sun simulators as a fear tactic and to steer people away from the truth as well. Because we have these people saying, "Oh, well, they got fake suns and moons and stars. We can never know the calendar of that," and so they just kind of brush it off as unimportant. Not realizing what they're doing. Like, sure, they may have fake sun simulators, things like that, but they can't hide what is up there in the heaven. The brightest luminary in the sky is the sun. You can't really hide that. So, yeah.
Well, Jeremy, I hope you're taking notes, brother. You're going to have some more stuff to add to your new video.
Yeah, I know. I know, right? Every
Every
week.
day. Every day. No, it's being recorded. We're going to have to listen to this all over again.
Yeah, it's good stuff, good stuff. But I will tell you this, if people will make more, they will, instead of sitting and listening to the truth, they will come up with the most crazy excuses you've ever heard of just to avoid any of it. Oh, there's fake sun simulators, there's a fake moon, there's a this, there's a that, or whatever it might be that makes them feel better, I guess, and so they don't have to know the truth or even consider it being the truth. It's nuts.
How much to disregard the luminaries that are supposed to be for us forever until heaven and earth pass away.
Yep.
Or Israel will cease to exist. That's not going to happen.
Right, because Israel is where we get our equal day, equal night, too. We need Israel's location. And so many people want to come out and say Africa's the land. Now, that's what they're saying. Africa's the land.
Yeah, I've heard Africa, America, Australia, the Philippines, the UK, you name it, I've heard it where they claim it's land. And really, the only place with enough archaeological evidence to back everything up is actually the land that we know of as Israel today. Yes, it's defiled and taken over. It's no longer a holy land because Yahuah clearly doesn't dwell there anymore. But that is the land, and we know just because not only the Dead Sea Scrolls, but a plethora of archaeological and historical evidence that has been found there as well. And, people want to say, oh, well, they found them over here and moved them to over there. Well, you can't take, 2,000-year-old clay jars that are, when you touch them, they turn to dust. You're not picking those up and moving them somewhere else. Sorry. They were found where they were found. And, there's actually quite a bit of evidence all around there, not just in Israel, but, the surrounding countries as well. In Iraq, they have the actual, remaining city walls of Babylon, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff just everywhere around there. In Jordan, they found it's the ancient Matabo map, and it's one of the oldest known maps, and it literally depicts the whole entire land of Israel, and actually the Mid East right there. It depicts. It even depicts Qumran and Bethabara, all that. But they try to dispute that and toss that out and say, oh, well, that's just stuff they throw in to fit the narrative, and that's really hard to believe, especially when there's no evidence or anything of that. And then we have Ron Wyatt's findings as well. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of him, but he found where Mount Sinai is, the blackened top and everything. The rock of Horeb is there, that split rock, the one Moses split, right there. Where he found the Red Sea crossing, there's chariots and wagon wheels and all kinds of horse bones, things like that. And that in itself is just even more evidence to me. So it takes a real stretch to say, like, just say, no, none of that's true, can't be true, and have nothing or no evidence to back that up. But yeah. I've just heard that a lot recently. So
Actually take the time to see it. I don't know if you can hear me, but I saw a little bit about this guy who indicates that there is evidence that Florida is where the ark was built, because there's gopher wood in Florida, and then after the flood they landed over there. So I thought that was interesting.
No, I've heard all that as well, and
really, I never heard it before.
Yeah, I've heard that from somebody, and
I have too.
but then again, gopher wood could have been found in more than just Florida back then. But there's also an argument that it wasn't gopher wood, but ophir wood. And that actually comes from the God culture. But he was going through that because of that same comment, and he was looking at like the etymology of the word, and he linked it back to ophir.
Right,
So
and the promised land is the Philippines or Eden or something.
Yeah. Well, he tries to link it back to that as well, yes. And there's a lot of different rabbit holes, and I'm not saying people are absolutely wrong or absolutely right, but perhaps they have missing pieces of the puzzle. But in my belief, it just shows, how the tribes were scattered all across the earth. So of course, we're going to have evidence of that. So we're going to have evidence of Israel literally all over the earth, which is what we see. And that's why we have all these claims like, no, it was in the U.S., no, here in Africa, no, here in the Philippines, no, here in Australia. Well, clearly it was everywhere because the scattered tribes.
Talking about everything that's been discovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls and out of the ground here and out of the ground there. Look at Psalms 85:11. Says, "Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven." I've always thought that might be a very prophetic scripture verse.
Oh, that makes sense, and especially in the context of finding these buried cities, unearthing them, and it matching up with what Scripture says. Wow. No, that's very interesting. There's also been speculation that the Dead Sea Scroll caves, the caves where they were found, is actually what could have been like a building. And whenever this calamity or whatever it was happened, it just melted it into these, caves that they're in now.
I mean, it looks melted.
Yeah. And that's what I was about to say. There's lots of channels like John Levi. I shared a few of his videos, but he talks a lot about, he calls it meltology. And he shows, actually, even today he had an episode on specifically about melted bricks and how, a brick, when exposed to extreme temperatures, can basically act like popcorn when you heat it up. It, explodes. So he showed examples of that. And like there's these stacked bricks where you can tell they were bricks in the middle, but like the outer ones where it would be the most heat would be, they were exploded kind of like popcorn would. And then that's how it explodes and it starts looking more like a mountain or a rock than it would a building. And I was like, wow, that's just really fascinating. But
Hey,
no, he goes
Jeremy,
around. Yeah.
have you ever thought about, okay, since the scrolls were in clay jars, clay is red, and the earth opens up and helps the woman?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, preserving them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree because
Revealing things that have been lost to us for,
yeah,
depending on whose view of it is, nearly 2,000 years or who knows what by this time.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And yeah, that's where so John Levi, he found these, they call them coke ovens because they burned coke ash or something like that. But like the outside of these domes or buildings, whatever, they look just like rock. But on the inside, it's brick. You can see it's brick. And then you can see the transition where it goes from brick and it starts like turning into like brick that melted together that now looks like rock. I just thought it was really interesting, and honestly, that could be the case. Like, what if they had like those were actually, large buildings, and now they just look like mountains with caves in them, and that's where they kept these scrolls to be preserved. Because we
Jeremy,
see.
if you could, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
If you go back to Ron Wyatt's discoveries and Sodom and Gomorrah, actually, Qumran looks a lot like all the melted buildings from Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually just going to mention that too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because Ron Wyatt found Sodom and Gomorrah, and it looks just like, yeah, like you said, where the Dead Sea Scroll caves are. So, yeah, very fascinating. And where he found it, that's the only place on Earth where they find these sulfur balls that are there. And it's the purest form of sulfur known. And it's only found where Sodom and Gomorrah are. People try to dismiss Ron Wyatt and his findings, and it's like, that people actually, a lot of people have gone back there and verified themselves his findings. And they were like, yeah, he's right.
Yes, and he has a YouTube channel still that you can go and look at all the resources. I've even got video of it here personally. I believe it. I may be wrong, but I know I cry when I watch them. So the spirit moves me that this is all true, what we're believing.
No, I found Ron Wyatt like probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago now.
Well, I'm in my 60s, and I remember my husband and I watching back in the late 70s, early 80s, watching him discover Noah's Ark. So I've watched Ron Wyatt for a long time.
Wow, so you saw it happen. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, it was actually a 2020 report. They did like a segment on, I don't know if you remember the old show 2020.
No, I remember the show, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
no, they
Jeremy's not
have
that young, okay, so he knows.
I was born in 82, but
There you go.
Well, you're the same age as my kids.
right, there we go. But yeah, no, they actually have that segment on his channel. I believe it's his widow who's keeping his channel up,
Yes.
and they've actually done quite a few videos recently, because I guess there was some backlash or something about some of his findings, and she put a rebuttal out to it, and I was like, oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, because someone was trying to claim they're discovering it, and it's already been discovered.
That's what it was. That's right. That's right. That's what it was. She was like, no, my husband found this way back in the day. So yeah. And no, I
But
found
like
Ron.
this, it doesn't count until I understand it.
Yeah, right. But no, I found out about him a while ago, and that's what helped, solidify, hey, look, scriptures is legit. It's 100% true. The world will try to get you to think the opposite, like it's some kind of fairy tale. But honestly, it's the only truth, and everything else they tell us is the fairy tale. All part of the plan. But yeah, no, you can find some really interesting stuff, and like Ron Wyatt, and it just solidifies, the area and the location and the archaeological and biblical evidence that all just comes together. And it's like you can't deny it unless you completely dismiss all of that and not even look that way. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna look over there. Just believe what I say. Yeah, awesome fellowship today. We're almost at another 3 hours again. Doesn't even seem like it.
Oh my
7
God.
hours.
What time is Jackson going on?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Jackson, I totally spaced about that. So yeah, Jackson Snyder does have a presenter on this evening.
Doesn't he start right
Is the
now?
link here? Is the link here?
8:30. Wait, 8:30 p.m.
Oh,
Who
okay,
is
so
that?
in a half hour.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Wait,
Who
is it, what time is it? Is it Central or Eastern or?
He usually goes by Eastern, if I remember.
Okay, then 8:30.
And yeah,
who is that?
Yeah, he's in Florida. Jackson Snyder is in Florida.
yeah.
Oh, Jackson Snyder. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
His link
I thought you said Dustin.
Oh no. No, I have his Zoom link here. It's in our library group under links. Let me find it. But yeah, he's doing up his calendar presentations again. And he's having one, I guess, in 30 minutes.
Is he still on the Wednesday thing?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, he was really interested in what we were presenting, but he got so much pushback.
Right.
Oops.
Kind of swayed him away from it. And unfortunately, like
But
apparently
maybe Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe he'll actually wind up going with it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, what this presenter, I watched a few of his videos. He's really awesome. I think he has a great spirit about him. I think he does his due diligence and work. However, he starts the day after the equinox.
So,
Just like Dustin, just like Nick,
yeah,
just like Laura. The
exactly.
day after the equinox.
And it's because like they have a valid position, but it doesn't line up because we can't break up the creator. So creation week is put there for a reason. We don't have a gap in the menorah. And it doesn't line up with Genesis 1 through 2, where we see that before day 1. We don't see it in between days 3 and 4. And it's because they only see one part of the cycle when we have 2 cycles. But yeah, I shared his Zoom link right there in the chat. So I know Katrina and I were going to join it for sure. Or I was planning to. And, you know, anybody else here, you are welcome to join.
I might get on there too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Jackson in a while.
Yeah, we're supposed to do a part 4 of our presentation as well. And he said in August, just like a week ago. And then all of a sudden he has this guy up. So I'm going to email him again. Actually, while we jump on his Zoom, I will email him. But yeah, he asked us to come back and do a part 4. But because of all the pushback and hate that he got from people, you know, I think that scared him a little bit. And so we did have a couple private sessions with him, like basically just us and Jackson. And then that's when he sent his little puppy dog to sniff us out. What was his name?
Onaya
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
Oh,
but the
Onia Carlson.
that's
but
it.
the
Oh,
Yeah.
the puppy
yeah,
dog didn't have much of a bite,
yeah. No, not at
and
all.
he got chased away by a couple big dogs,
He did.
like
That he did.
us, like
Yeah,
as
Jackson was like, "Oh yeah, he's well versed in the Dead Sea Scrolls. He knows what's up."
he's
And I was like,
not.
"Yeah,
He's
he's not.
not.
He's
He
not."
lives in his mother's basement. And he was trying to start a Zadok community and was trying to raise funds to get a house for a Zadok community to live in.
Wow, he's been
No,
doing that kind of
no.
thing for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I know.
And
And
I
he's
didn't know
still
he
living
was
in his
still,
mother's basement.
and he's
Yeah.
been in his mother's basement all this time. Oh boy.
I mean, it's unbelievable. No, he's really trying to start a community and trying to get funds off of people to do so.
Yeah.
Just amazing how many people are jumping into these Gnostic books, thinking it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a deception.
Yeah. No, that's right. You were there, Lee, when he was
Yep.
like, "Oh, we found this new discovery." And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, he starts reading it, and it's just totally Gnostic.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
And then, you know, Katrina called him out during that presentation too. She was like, "Hey, you know, you never got back to us about the calendar." And he was like, "Oh, well, it's late right now, and I'm kind of tired. I'll get back to you tomorrow." Tomorrow never came.
Nope. And I'd been sending him stuff too.
Because we showed him the proof in the Dead Sea Scrolls that we have, and he had nothing to say about it. Because at first
Right.
he was like, "Oh, you know, your day after the Sabbath thing is foolish. It doesn't make sense." And it's like, "Oh, it's foolish, doesn't make sense. Well, here it is in the Dead Sea Scrolls." Crickets. never a response after that. Like literally, he stopped responding after that. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that we were trying to reach Snyder, and he was very interested in it because he's very adamant about no intercalation. But he believes, well, after Sukkot, you don't worry about it, and then you just start on the first Wednesday after the equinox. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Because he believes, yes, this calendar is what they followed, but they observed the lunar calendar as like their yearly calendar or something like that, or some kind of secular calendar. And it's like, no, this is the calendar they used for the entire year. Like they didn't have this calendar for festivals and then one for their years. But yeah, no, I shared the link there in chat. So
Well, he was trying to work out, and he was indicating that he believed that, well, they had to interface with the civil society, therefore they only used the calendar for festivals, and the whole rest of the year they used Saturday as the Sabbath. It didn't really all the way make sense to me, some of what he said.
I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because that is actually exactly what he said. He's like, oh, you keep the festivals up until Shavuot, or sorry, Sukkot, and then you don't worry about it after that. It's just you continue on until the next Wednesday comes around on the equinox. And yeah, it's but he was very interested in what we were presenting. And then of course, we had Robert and Gina. Well, Gina actually didn't show up, but Robert was in there. And you could just tell by his demeanor, he was not there to learn anything. He was there to
Trap.
for the
Trap
trap.
questions. He would come in and say, "How long have you been tracking this? I want to see all your data." And our response is, "I don't know, Robert. How long have you been tracking yours? Oh, did you do it for 294 years? Oh, because we tracked it and it doesn't work. So could we have your data? Because what you're doing doesn't even work and we tracked it." The hypocrisy. He jumped on Gina's calendar the same time we did, the same time we debunked it. Tell me how long you were tracking it for, buddy. Right. No.
Exactly.
His trap questions don't work.
Yeah, he was like one of those, the cartoons where they throw the bear trap out and hide in a bush and giggle. Like,
and then they get stuck in it.
Yeah, exactly. Then they walk out and get stuck in it. Because that's what happened. We call him out after his trap question. And it's like, oh, right. Really? Well, what about this, Robert? And he wouldn't say anything, or he'd be like, well, this isn't my presentation. I don't have to answer questions. It's like, oh, okay, it's like that. Yeah, really rough, honestly.
He'll be there tonight, though.
Yeah, oh boy. I love it.
He'll be there.
So who's presenting tonight?
It's, what was his name?
Chase Hadley? Yeah.
Was it Chase Hadley?
I think so. Something like that.
I know his last name's Hadley because I thought of Noel Hadley, and I was like, wait, are they related?
Is Sean Hadley going to present tonight?
No.
Is it Sean? No, it's not Sean.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Chris or Chase. Chris Hadley or Chase Hadley.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. It says...
Is there
Colton.
a code or anything that,
No.
or is it just, can you get right in off the link that you
The
put on the
link,
chat?
the link should be there, but here, I'll put in the,
Yeah, what
there
it
we
will
go.
do, Mr. Dennis, is it'll let you get in there, but you just have to wait for Jackson to let you in. So it's not like you automatically pop into the Zoom meeting. You have to wait for them to let you in.
Okay.
But hey, fam, I got to go. I got to get cleaned up and eat some supper, and I'll try to get on to the Zoom tonight and hear what's going on over there too. But if not, blessings to everybody, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, shalom, brother. Good. Always great
Shabbat
having you.
shalom.
Shalom,
Shabbat
shalom, guys.
shalom.
Shabbat
And
shalom, everyone.
yeah, we'll probably end it there or end it here now because we got about 15 minutes or so before that starts. So yeah, no, amazing
Yeah.
fellowship today. I loved it. I appreciate everybody and everybody giving their testimonies and just coming together as a family. It's really
Yeah, it's
amazing and a
been
blessing.
great. Thanks so much for you and Katrina's hard work putting this thing together. It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, the glory. He deserves all the praise. I am so
Yes.
honored and so thankful to be a part of what he's doing. I am just so thankful. And I'm so thankful for all of you to come together like this. And really, this is where Yah's esteem is. This is where he shows. And I'm going to blast it. I'm going to
Go to
blast
it,
it.
bullhorn.
I'm the bullhorn. I'm the secretary. I'm the bullhorn. I put on my armor every day. I go to war. I'm a conqueror. I am in it because I know that he is behind me every single way. And when I tell you he puts every word in my mouth, it's not of me because I am nothing. I am dumb. I am stupid. I was a lowlife in school, in college, and this, that, the other thing. I got by because I was pretty and I was captain of the cheerleading and prom queen, but I was dumb as a rock. And now look at me. Now look at me. Now he's lifted me up and he built me up into this
He's where he
train
wants you
wreck.
to be.
Literally, yeah. I'm a
All
wrecking
praise to
ball.
the Most High. Wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball of all the delusions and all the hard topics he gave me. Of course, when he first opened my eyes and he brought me to vaccine or jibby jabs, I really felt with the way that I brought forth the truth in that. I really think that he was preparing me for this because it was a hard transition. Because I was, like I just said, I was I was a people pleaser. I was a dancer. I was like I actually worked in clubs, dancing, go-go dancing. I was a people pleaser. I was a performer. I got by with my looks. I got by with my, that kind of stuff. Sexuality. And the way that he has transitioned me into this has been unbelievable. All glory to him. Only he could make a train wreck come to life. And
Hallelujah.
yeah, and he's been using me in a big way. And when he saw me come out with, I think, the importance of the not doing jibby jabs for the babies, and I was incessant. I mean, I had T-shirts. I would walk around. I was nuts. I would hand out flyers. I really, like, looking back at it, I could see where he could be like, oh, there's my girl. There she is. There's the girl who's not going to give up. There's the girl who's not going to back down into a fight. There's the girl that's going to do her research. There she is. There she is.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well,
with
Shabbat
that,
Shalom, everyone. I'm going to go
Shabbat
get ready
Shalom.
for another bout.
Yeah,
Oh, let's do it.
absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna
Shabbat
get
shalom,
ready for
everybody.
Shabbat
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 Shalom.
Shalom,
Shalom,
guys. Shabbat Shalom.
and
Shabbat shalom.
we'll meet same time, same place next Sabbath.
Cool.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Can't
Hello.
wait. All right.